And we're back. This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here on CCW TV, the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. Those last two reviews kind of got me into rant mode. And
wow.
Really. And a couple things that went on the blog. Just so you know, DMAR has been working on this secret project. It's going to be...
What about your secret project?
My secret project? I can't talk about it yet.
That sucks.
I'm waiting.
You suck.
I do. Well, can I tell you something? Okay, so everyone knows I have a monthly now. And we already know that you can be incredibly derivative in comics and be successful. Damn it. I'm doing it. In Army of Darkness, Ash Saves Obama, I had... Ash having a conversation with two other characters in a diner, remember?
Yes.
I did it. That was my homage to Bendis. I have a Miller homage in mind already. Let's see. Now, but DMAR is working on a special cartoon for us that will be premiering in May. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. DMAR and Little King Ryan have hooked up. And there's been some really cool stuff, some art stuff that's been going on. If you haven't been seeing it, DMAR's Sunday Funnies always makes me chuckle when they're posted each Sunday. Let me ask you this.
No. Yes.
Okay, both the Kick-Ass movie trailer and the Scott Pilgrim movie trailers are out there for everyone to see, right?
Yes.
But the most common comment I see on the the Scott Pilgrim trailers.
Jesus fucking Christ! What is wrong with you?
I'm falling apart right now before your very eyes.
This is gonna be awesome.
The Scott Pilgrim trailers. The most common complaint I get is people are so over Michael Cera. Why so much Michael Cera hate out there? I just don't get it.
I don't. Some of this hate is coming from people who never watched Arrested Development. Actually, there were some people who actually commented like, "I've never watched Arrested Development, so I was never really into him. I'm just kind of sick of him." So that's kind of where I started liking him. Yeah, he plays the same guy. He's the fucking Harrison Ford of emo characters. He just plays himself in every movie. I don't have a problem with that. I like the movies that he's made. I don't know. I don't get the hate.
Because I don't see any other way the movie gets made without him as a star. I mean, name somebody else to play Scott Pilgrim who's a name enough where the studios will say, yeah, we can market this.
Well, there's a ton of people in that movie on top of just him being headlining the movie.
But I mean...
I see what you're saying, though.
See? Yeah. And I'm just saying, I know that there just seems to be this whole thing out there, I am so over Michael Cera. I'm like, well, but what? What is it? Why? And then give me another kid who you can cast as Scott Pilgrim that, okay, don't get me wrong, I mean, you can find an unknown easy. But that a movie studio will say, yeah, we can market this film with this kid that we've never heard of before. Because let's face it, Scott Pilgrim is not the most widely known title either.
Right. So,
someone explain that to me. And then this new Kick-Ass movie trailer that's coming out. I don't remember some of the stuff that I've seen in the trailer. I don't remember that happening in the comic. But my God, does it make comic book fanboys look like totally inept dullards? I mean.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what the comic was about, though, dude.
I don't know how there's so many kids who go, yeah, this is a realistic portrayal on superheroes in comics.
And then they're just slamming people who read comics.
Yeah, and then, And then there was a comment a while back on the board about where I said, you know, well, I want to see superheroes, villains being brought to justice, and someone said, villains brought to justice.
Boring.
You know, so boring. What is wrong? Why do we have to rip apart being a hero? I just don't get that.
Because morality isn't cool anymore, dude. It really isn't. Because
the bad guys, it's like everyone always says that. It's like it's more actors will say that it's more fun to play the bad guy. But why is it more fun to play the bad guy? What's so wrong about wanting to play the hero and finding the motivation for doing the right thing? I just don't get that.
I don't know. It's a good question.
You have no opinion on that.
I guess I can probably formulate one in a second or two. No, well, when you hear people saying it's more fun to play the villain, it all kind of depends because a lot of people, I don't know, I think they can just get into the character because it's I think that it's in your when you're acting and you're acting out the villain, it's something that you aren't able to do in your normal everyday life. I can see how that would be different because it's such a departure from actually being a good person. But when you're acting, it's one thing. So I can understand why like look at Gary Oldman, right? He's a good Commissioner Gordon, but when that guy's a villain in movies, he is like 100 times better. I mean, you look at him in Leon, and you look at him in Fifth Element, where he just totally hams it up. Those just look like fun roles to play.
It just seems there is a glorification of the dark side of things, of being bad. And so you look at two movies, you look at Scott Pilgrim, and you look at Kick-Ass, which are both, in a way, mirror images of each other. You know? One's about a good kid, one's about a not-so-good kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And how many people are going to go out to see Scott Pilgrim, and how many are going to go see Kick-Ass, based on the fact that one is darker and one... I mean, I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to Scott Pilgrim just because I'm tired of all this dark and gritty crap.
Well, I'm not even going to go see Kick-Ass. I already announced months ago that Scott Pilgrim was going to be the comic book movie that I want to see this summer. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even going to bother with Kick-Ass.
I don't know.
Scott Pilgrim looks like a fun movie. That trailer was awesome. If anything, that trailer got me even more psyched to go see that movie.
Oh, definitely.
And everything that I've seen from Kick-Ass just makes me not want to go see that movie.
It's like...
I mean, it's too bad because I do like Matthew Vaughn. He's a good director, and I'm sure it's going to look cool, but I'm done. I'm like, just don't have any interest in seeing that movie.
I don't know. I want to hear from you guys out here. Look at the trailers themselves and tell me, based on those trailers, what you think. Beyond that, this was a tough week to be a comic book reader. There was a lot of stuff going on that I wasn't terribly happy with, and yeah, I've got my my scripts I got to get in and get done, and being sick didn't help any. And also, the podcast is going to... It was positively received, so I do want to figure out a way to do it, but the way I did it last week on the blog, I kind of threw together at the last second because I knew we had all this great audio that we could use, and I didn't want to short our viewers. We got to figure out a better way of doing it so that way we know that people are actually able to get it. Because I was surprised, again, to hear from Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder complimenting us on the review for American Vampire, because I thought our podcast is buried on the archive.org site. No one's going to hear this thing. And yeah, I put a link to it on the blog, but it just shows that people are going to the blog. So if anyone has an idea of how to get more stuff out there, or a better way of getting the podcast
well,
out
now
there.
You're going to get like 15 million comments saying iTunes, dude.
Okay, so if it goes on iTunes, you have to have an iTunes player. Not everybody has iTunes.
I don't even have an iTunes player.
And when you get into iTunes, you get into digital rights management that I really don't like. I really don't care for. At least if I put it on the archive.org site, there's no digital rights management there. You can play it on anything, on any MP3 player. It doesn't have to have iTunes. Mm-hmm. So that's why I went with that.
I'll just continue to put it on there then.
I could. Anyway, I'm dying here.
Yeah. I think we're done.
I'm sucking the life out of these segments right now.
He's sucking the life out of fucking me. I'm like just waiting to get the fuck out of here. That's why these segments are pretty short. I told him, I'm like, why are we even doing these? Like, he just was coughing and hacking up blood over there earlier today. I'm like, dude, we don't have to do it. No, we have to do it today. We have to do it. I'm like, I even said, like, I don't want to do it if you're going to be like this. And I was pretty right, because these segments kind of turn out shitty. Thank you, Elliot, for fucking ruining this.
Damn it. Okay, well, if you've endured this much, I'm going to tell you my secret project.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Kick-Ash. That's all I'm going to say.
That's pretty funny.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to
Two jokes I found mildly amusing.
Thank you.
You should get sick more often.
We look forward to your comments, your feedback on the CCW TV channel and on the blog. Check it out. I'm going to have links to the previous podcasts so that if you didn't get a chance to listen to them, you can listen to them now. And as always, check in for reviews that are posted on the blog outside of what we do here on the channel. So
I'm going to try to be a little bit more animated and more outgoing in the next series of segments.
And hopefully I won't be coughing up a lung next time. So until next time, Elliot, Jose, Dreamland Comics, thanks for joining us, and maybe, if I live, we'll see you again. So long.